How I've made $170,002.53 doing voiceover on Fiverr. Hello, VO friends, and welcome back. So today, we're going to get into a real popular topic in voiceover, and that is Fiverr. Fiverr is probably one of the most talked about topics in voiceover and probably one of the most controversial, but we're going to break it down and let you know how I made $170,002.53 on Fiverr, and hopefully you can too. So if you hang out on social media groups about voiceover, you've probably heard lots of people talking about the negatives of Fiverr. Things like it's a race to the bottom and it devalues the industry, or real professionals don't work on Fiverr. And while some of those criticisms are fair and very warranted, there is kind of an upside to Fiverr as well, and so that's what I'm going to talk about today. Fiverr has also launched thousands of voiceover careers because, as I've mentioned before, it's kind of a springboard to get into the higher job level in the voiceover industry. It's a great place to work on the basics, things like just recording and editing and working with clients and scripts and delivery and things that will allow you to kind of hone your skills and get you ready for the big leagues. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why Fiverr has such a mixed reputation, how to actually succeed on Fiverr, the real downsides that you should probably look out for, how to use Fiverr as a stepping stone to grow your career, and finally, I'm going to show you my Fiverr account and show you how I've made $170,002.53 on Fiverr. So one of the main reasons why Fiverr gets a bad rap is because when they first started, all the jobs on there were $5, and that's how they got the name Fiverr. So for a seasoned voice actor, after doing, commercials for $200, $300, the thought of doing something for $5 was insulting. And I agree with that. Yes, it's insulting. So in those early times, what really drew the complaints was that it drew the industry rates down. It caused clients to expect voiceovers for cheaper. It attracted a lot of brand new beginners with very little experience. And those concerns are valid. I mean, yes, those prices were bottom of the barrel and it did change client expectations. But here's the flip side of that. Not everybody has the budget of a big-time corporation. And so smaller businesses, they need voiceovers too. And so if they're going to places like Fiverr to get that work, that's where a lot of the beginners would go to gain that experience. Here's why Fiverr can be a great starter platform if you're just getting into the voiceover industry. So for beginners, Fiverr can be a great way to get your feet wet in the industry and get practice working with real scripts and earn a little bit of money and kind of gain some more real-world experience. Unlike pay-to-play sites or, working with casting directors, there's very little barrier to entry. You can sign up for free. The clients come to you. And there's really, you can start earning money right away. Yes, a lot of people, when they first get on Fiverr, the rates are low. But if you do well early, you can start to raise your rates pretty quickly. And at this point, I'm doing jobs on Fiverr for industry rates. But beyond money, Fiverr can teach you a lot of very basic skills that you're going to need in the broader industry. Things like communicating with clients and delivering on time and learning to give good, clean audio to your clients. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is how to build a successful Fiverr presence. The first step is to set up your profile, and this is just a combination of a very professional, well thought out thumbnail, as well as a good bio that tells people who you are and what you can do for them. The next focus is your gigs, and the more of these you create on there, the better. Think about all the different kinds of voiceover you want to offer. Maybe it's commercials or explainer videos or medical narration or audiobooks or characters. Whatever you feel like you offer best, create a separate gig for that thing. And so when we jump into my account here in a few minutes, I'm going to show you all of my different gigs and give you an idea of not only what looks good on a profile, but how the thumbnail should work, as well as, very importantly, the add-ons, and we'll get to that here in a minute. Okay, when it comes to pricing, you want to be competitive. You don't want to start too high because other people are going to be compared to you and you're going to suffer by that sticker shock. So start in a competitive range where other new sellers are. But as long as you're offering good quality voiceovers and your pricing is fair, then you'll very quickly be able to kind of rise the ranks and raise your rates as well. Another biggie is your responsiveness. And this is when clients reach out to you. Try to respond back as quickly as possible because Fiverr will reward quick and fast communication. Also, this is probably obvious, but deliver on time. Obviously, if you deliver late, that's going to penalize you on the platform. Okay, let's get real too. Fiverr does have some drawbacks, and that's what I'm going to cover next. The first thing is fees. Fiverr does take 20% of every single job you get, and that's their service for running their platform. The next thing is there are a lot of lowball clients, but I'll tell you this, there's lowball clients everywhere, not just on Fiverr. And once again, all I have to say to that is learn to politely decline. Another downside to Fiverr is it's very difficult, if not almost impossible, to convert clients off of the platform and start to work directly. It can be done, but you will get in a lot of trouble with Fiverr if you do that. The next downside is pricing, and the reason why is that buyers are going to compare your pricing with other sellers in your particular level, and you do need to be competitive. And really, if you think about it, a lot of the other platforms actually take a cut as well. Pay-to-plays take a cut, or they charge you a yearly subscription. Agencies take a cut of their jobs that they get for you. So Fiverr's just one of many options to get work. So when you first get on Fiverr, what you want to shoot for is best reviews possible. And the way you do this is you underpromise and overdeliver. So what does that mean? It means if you think you can get the job done in 1 day, tell them 2 days, but if you deliver a day early, they're going to be delighted and they're going to give you a good review. And the more of those good reviews, the better and better your profile is going to place in the search. And remember, be specialized. Do different gigs for every kind of voiceover that you offer.
And now for something completely different.
Hey guys, just a quick break here to let you know that the application window for the VoiceOver Blueprint training program is now open. The VoiceOver Blueprint isn't just a bunch of prepackaged videos. It's the most comprehensive voiceover training program in the known galaxy. When you join, you'll get live instructional webinars every day covering marketing, tech, performance, casting sites, and more. Plus access to a private Facebook group where you can ask questions, get feedback, watch me work in live voiceover sessions, contests, and tons more. You'll also unlock a full library of on-demand video training modules, special discounts on demos and partner programs, and exclusive one-on-one coaching with VO experts. New members get a 30-minute onboarding call with me just to make sure you're off on the right foot. Plus, dedicated US-based member support every step of the way. Book your call now to learn more in the description and the pinned comment below.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Next up is upselling with your add-ons. And once again, we'll cover this when we jump into my profile. But this is where you can turn, a $20 gig into a $200 gig very simply. Remember that entry rate is just for the amount of words. All those other add-ons really add up fast. Another thing you can start to do as you start to get these testimonials from clients, you can use those testimonials in your other marketing. For instance, there is a testimonial or a quote on my website from a client that I initially got on Fiverr, and I used that testimonial on my website because it's such a glowing recommendation. Okay, so let's talk about using Fiverr as a springboard. So, as I said earlier, a lot of brand new talent will jump on Fiverr because it is so easy to create a profile and get started. But only use it as one of many spokes in your revenue wheel. For instance, in my case, Fiverr is just a very small part of my overall voiceover income pie. But if you do it right, the amount of money you can make on Fiverr is not insignificant. I mean, I know people who have made literally 6 figures a year just on Fiverr. Now, I will say that you want to make sure that you don't put all your eggs in that basket, because what would happen if Fiverr just went away tomorrow and all you did was work on Fiverr? Your business is shot. For me, if Fiverr were to go away tomorrow, I would feel it maybe a little bit, but it wouldn't really make a huge difference. So a lot of the Fiverr haters out there will tell you that Fiverr devalues the market, and to that I say yes and no. It really kind of depends on how you use it. If you charge $5 forever, then sure, you're going to devalue the industry. But if you steadily raise your rates, add upsells, and work your way towards industry rates, then it's just another platform to get work. And if you're curious about what the industry rates are, go check out the GVAA Rate Guide. That's the Global Voice Acting Academy. Those are the agreed upon standard rates for pretty much all voiceover categories. Okay, so now's the time we're going to hop over into my own Fiverr account and show you exactly how I've put my profile together and prove to you that I'm not lying when I'm talking about the money that I've made there. So here we go. All right, so here we are in the stats or my earnings page on the Fiverr account. I just wanted to go here first to show you that I've made right here $170,002.53 since joining. And by the way, I joined in 2019. So in the last, 6 years, I have made that much money. Now, that wouldn't be enough money to retire on. It wouldn't be enough money to, make a full-time income. But if you break that down by year, that's about $28,000 a year that I'm not going to leave on the table. All right, next up I'm going to show you my profile. So let's jump over here, and this shows you all of the different gigs that I have on Fiverr. I have a total of 6. So some perform better than others, but as you can see here, I've got several that are, I've got one that's just general, and I've got others here that are specific, like e-learning, IVR, medical. This one is for corporate. This is for whiteboard. So these are the different gigs that I've got, and you can see how many orders I've gotten for each gig. But another thing I want to talk about is the thumbnail. Make sure that your thumbnail is bold. It tells what you're going to offer. In my case, I've put on here some clients that I've worked with, some national clients, just to give a little bit of street cred. And there are people on Fiverr who can create these thumbnails for you, but you can also use a platform like Canva or Photoshop or something like that to create a professional looking gig thumbnail. Okay, the next thing I want to show you here is a single gig. And this is where we're going to get into some of the more detailed information about how you can turn a low price gig into a high price gig with no extra work on your part. So this is my main voiceover gig. It's the one that's gotten the most jobs, 715 reviews, but that doesn't mean that it's only been that many jobs. Some people just don't leave reviews. I've probably done over 1,000 just on this one gig. But I'm going to scroll down here, and as you can see right now, my rate is $20 per 50 words, right? Which sounds crappy, and it is. But here's where you can really increase. If I scroll way down here to my add-ons, this is where you can really make up the difference. And as you can see here, everything from extra fast delivery to commercial and broadcast rights, or commercial and full broadcast rights, high quality. When a client buys a new job from me, they can go down this list and tick off all the things that they want. And these jobs add up quick. And as you can see down here, I even have a regional and national use. I have gotten national work on Fiverr. And yes, I'm going to say that again. I have gotten national work on Fiverr. And the people who are out there barking and saying that you can't get national or high profile work on Fiverr, they're just lying. Either that or they just don't know the difference. Because I've gotten national work on Fiverr. Plenty of clients come back to me on Fiverr, and I'm not ashamed to say, once again, that I've made over 170 grand since joining Fiverr. So that's money that I would not have had otherwise. And I was not doing tons and tons of jobs for low-end rates. I was just doing quality work for a fair rate, and I grew my rates over time. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is what kind of demos you should use on Fiverr. Well, I've talked about before how DIY demos are a good starting place to get on Fiverr. Now, if you've got professional demos, that doesn't mean you can't use Fiverr. It just means that you're going to have better samples to put on there. Every time I get a new professional demo, I create a new gig on Fiverr. That way I diversify the amount of work that I can get. So the big question is, should you use Fiverr to grow your voiceover business? And my answer to that is, it depends. If you're just starting and you want to get your feet wet and get some practice and put in some reps and working in voiceover, then it can be a great place to start. If you're further down the voiceover journey and you just want to add another marketing channel and another place to get work, and you don't mind working your way up the ladder, that could be an option for you as well. So whether you're doing voiceover as a side hustle or a hobbyist, or you're trying to be a serious professional, don't let the Fiverr haters dissuade you from going and working on Fiverr. If you do it right, it can be a great additional income stream that you can add to your overall business. Oh, and speaking of side hustles, if you're curious as to why voiceover makes such a great side hustle, then click on this video right here.